Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Devo with me, Bo Willette. You can always check out the archives. I say this every time at my YouTube channel at Bo Willette. Just type in Bo Willette in the search bar at YouTube and you'll come up with it, and then you'll have all kinds of books of the Bible that I've already gone through. Yeah, quite a bit of material there. And it's great. I'm in the Proverbs now, just going through the Old Testament. This is how really I came to know God, Yahweh, and Yeshua, if you will, Jesus, is through simply reading the Bible. I was a kid that grew up very much critiquing the Bible and very much not into Christians at all or whatever they were doing. But lo and behold, one day I just picked up the book and started reading. And boy, man, so many things made sense. It truly was a paradigm shift of many things. A lot of my, you know how you have little bubbles that get popped, right? Little intellectual bubbles and worldview bubbles that get popped. And I certainly had that happen when I read the Bible, it was absolutely amazing. So I do my devotions that way as well. I just go through the scriptures. So Proverbs 18 is where I'm at. Casey's already in the house. Paula's in the house. And so I asked the question, what are two themes that you can think of the Proverbs? And so Paula says wisdom, knowledge. Casey says so many talk about being careful with your speech and walk in the Holy Spirit. And she says, and she laughs now, if she would be more mindful of those things. Yeah, that's always kind of another idea of the Psalms or the Proverbs, right? It's kind of how we ought to be, if you will, kind of the ideal of thinking and doing. And so it's a great book because we get to, at any time of our life, open it up, and there'll be some good counsel there, for us. Things to think about, things to ponder. In every decision that we have, there's different ways to go. There's different decisions to make. And I guess the question always comes is, who are you going to listen to in making the decision? Which way are we going to go, and who's going to guide us in that way? Who's going to move us in that direction? It's kind of like you go to the university and you sit under a professor, and as the professor teaches, you're kind of moved in your views of things to maybe now go in certain directions. Maybe you would have never before under your parents, but now that you're under that university professor or professors, you kind of now are under their tutelage, and you start putting a lot of weight or glory in what they are saying. And you take it as truth. Isn't that weird? Even when I was a secular dude, listening to the professors, I was doing what Christians were doing. I was listening to people and basing decisions off of what they said. Even when I was in music culture and everything like that, rave culture, metal culture, whatever culture it was, punk culture, it always was listening to people and moving. And so when I was bagging on Christianity, I was doing the same thing. It was just with a different crew. That's all, And I know people, especially how I grew up, very secular, progressive, we don't like to think that we're just like those people. But we are, we're just doing the same thing, just with a different set of professors. And the Proverbs, what they're doing is they're replacing that professor with the proverb. The proverb is, as Solomon says, the father, the teacher, teaching the lessons. So that's the cool little background to the proverb. It says, unfriendly people care only about themselves. They lash out at common sense. Being unfriendly. Okay, how friendly are you? Well, my junior high, I won most friendliest. 12th grade, I won most friendliest. I tend to be a friendly dude. I tend to go up to all kinds of people, doesn't matter where they're at, and start chatting with them and getting to know them a little bit. I tend to be that way. Not everybody's that way. Not everybody's kind of built that way. But notice what it says. Unfriendly people care only about themselves, right? Let's see. There is a footnote. Oh, I didn't know what. I don't know what it says. But there is a footnote in my Bible. I was trying to find out what it actually. It's over unfriendly, but I can't seem to find it. But anyway, they only care about themselves. You know, kind of that narcissistic attitude. They lash out at common sense. Why? Because they only are about what they're going to do, right? Their mind. They got it together, right? They can't really see what that other person sees because their view is the right view all the time. You know, am I a person who's willing to yield a little bit and say, hey, you know, what's your side of it? You know, come over. Come over to their side. Be friendly. You know, try to see it from their perspective. Fools have no interest in understanding. They only want to air out their opinion. So you get the idea that we're dealing with some relationships here, right? Lashing out at common sense, right? They have no interest in understanding, right? They only want to air their own opinion, right? That's the kind of unfriendly person, only caring about themselves. It says, doing work leads to disgrace, and scandalous behavior brings contempt. And that's true, right? When we do wrong, it does lead to disgrace. No matter what world you're in, right? No matter what bubble you're in, man, you live in the Islamic world, the Christian world, the Hindu world, the secular, atheist, humanist, naturalist, materialist world. That was a cool thing, huh? That was long. Doesn't matter, right? There's always a culture where there's a right and there's a wrong. No matter which bubble you're in. And that wrong, when you go the wrong direction, it leads to disgrace. Right? Scandalous behavior brings contempt, right? People start looking at you like, oh man, you know, and that's no good. We kind of got to definitely be careful of that. Wise words are like deep waters. Wisdom flows from the wise like a bubbling brook. Oh, that's kind of cool. Deep waters, you know, kind of got a lot of weight to it, right? Wise words are like that. And wisdom flows. Sounds like a healthy stream, right? Like that bubbling brook. I remember as a little kid, you know, going to Maine, the state of Maine, and Bethel, you know, these different places. You know, I lived in Bethel when I was a little guy. And you remember those creeks? You know, do you remember those creeks on the East Coast? Or maybe up in Washington or Oregon, they got a bunch of creeks. But they're so cool, right? And it's always neat when they're flowing a ton, you know. But wisdom, wise words are kind of like that. They just flow. They're beautiful. Man, it's amazing to watch. And listen, it's not right to acquit the guilty or deny justice to the innocent. Wow, that's a good proverb. We had a question the other day on a reason for hope. And that question had to do with, hey, what if I want capital punishment for someone who did, you know, a horrible thing? Is that wrong? And I talked a little bit about that on the show yesterday. But isn't it neat that today we get into this proverb? It is not right to acquit the guilty, meaning, hey, you don't just let them go. That's not the right thing to do. Right? It says, or deny justice to the innocent. Right? You gotta judge rightly. Make proper judgments. And when there is something breaking the law and deserving of punishment, then it needs to happen. And, you know, there are lessons learned. There are things that us humans learn through discipline. And if we're not disciplined, then maybe we just become delinquent. right? I think I read that somewhere, that if we're not disciplined, we become delinquent. Yeah, how many people in the prison system don't have really good fathers? You know, I think that statistic has been nailed down over the years, right? Yeah. But for a society to be civilized, it needs good courts, good judges. And it seems like this is kind of honing in on that. Fools' words get them into constant quarrels. They are asking for a beating. Yep, that's so true. Now I think of this like just growing up and, kind of that party lifestyle, where you have such a foolish tongue that, it's just a matter of time before you say something totally wrong and you're going to get blasted, meaning not verbally, but you're going to get blasted in the face, right, with a punch. I mean, that's happened to me, right, where, you say something dumb and it's wrong and it's out of line. And then some person turns around and says, okay, and gives you a nice sock in the jaw. I remember falling to the ground once because some dude hit me so hard right here in the nose. And boy, did I have foolish words, right? It went into a quarrel, and I was asking for a beating. That's for sure. I know that might be an extreme one for you guys, but yeah, hopefully you didn't get punched in the nose by your words. But let's face it, sometimes our mouths, need to be shut, right? Instead of just going at it. Again, Proverbs are always talking about don't talk about other people. Be a good friend, man. Love, kindness covers a multitude of sins. Don't use your mouth, right? If you're going to talk about something, talk about God. Talk about yourself. That's what I got. Yeah, so it's very important that we be careful when we do talk about anybody else, and we have to walk very gently. Rumors it says the mouth of fools are their ruin. They trap themselves with their lips. Yeah, I just mentioned that. Rumors are dainty morsels that sink deep into one's hearts. Ooh, rumors. Oh, again, rumors talking, blah, blah, blah. This is what I heard. This is what I heard. This is what I heard. Well, you might have heard wrong, right? You might have got it totally wrong. I am so not smart that I have to realize that probably what's in my brain might not even be right, per se. I have to give that a notion. I have to think that way, because if I think I really got it all together and I really got everything right in my brain, I probably just spit it out and think it's all good. But it's good to be cautious and go, maybe I got that wrong. Maybe that's something that was said privately. Maybe blah, 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 blah. But notice it says rumors are a dainty morsel. They want to stay with us. They want to sink deep into our heart. Ooh. Right? Can we all relate to these, right? We're all like, yep. Michael says, I was the one who punched. God changed me. That's so awesome. Yeah, well, someone punched me. No, I remember they did. Someone did punch me. I got punched a few times, by the way. But it says a lazy person is as bad as someone who destroys things. Oh, a lazy person. Someone who destroys things. Now, think about it. A lazy person doesn't do anything. They're lazy. And so what do they destroy? This is painful for me to think of. Yourself, right? Think of that TV show that's about like hoarding, right? Have you ever seen that TV show before where they go into a house, and the house looks pretty cool on the outside? It kind of looks like it's in the woods or something. That's what I always picture in my mind, right? They go into the house and man, lo and behold, there's a billion things in it. And the thing is it only it's hurted that person so much, right, that lives there, and health-wise, in so many areas. There's trash everywhere, bugs everywhere. If they have pets, it's not a good scene, right? There's a lot of unhealthiness. And so, man, it destroys things. Oh gosh, it does. Laziness, and some people are on the other side. They're like spastic, right? Everything's got to be super clean. And then there's people that are just lazy. But so that's a kind of a word to that person who's being lazy, that you are destroying something, and we have to think about that. And then move in a different direction. That's the whole idea, is moving in different directions. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it, and they are safe. Now, I quoted from the New King James because that's how I know that verse so well. The name of the Lord is a strong fortress. The godly run to him and are safe. Oh, isn't that cool? Jesus is your safety. He's the one you run to. Hey, you want to talk about someone? Go talk to the Lord about them. Isn't that great? Get in your prayer closet and you talk all you want about that person to the Lord. Right? That's what we learned in the Psalms. The Psalms are upward directed. Hey, God, I want you to do this to this person. I want you to do that. I want you to take care of this. I don't like, get it all out, right? And then when you go out into your day and you run into that person, man, be filled with the love of Jesus in your heart. Love covers a multitude of sins. Oh man, it is a glue. Love is a glue that heals friendships, and that kind of thing. But man, you go into that prayer closet, you run into that fortress, right? We are safe in Jesus. Oh, I love that. The rich think of their wealth as a strong defense. They imagine it to be a high wall of safety. But it's not, right? But you think it is, right? You think your house is going to last the great storm. You think this, you think that. And then you're in a big earthquake. And then you find out that, you know what? These things fall apart. And there's no match to a thing that I've been in the Northridge earthquake back in 1994 in Northridge on Nordhoff and Reseda. That's where me and Sylvia lived. And when that earthquake hit, on the epicenter, felt like a gorilla underneath your apartment. And there's no bigger than a gorilla, like a 900-foot gorilla underneath your apartment. Everything blowing up. Windows, everything. Gas lines, fires, people screaming. It's unbelievable. Your brain literally goes bzzz because of the noise, right? You might think you got a strong tower. You might think, but if it's not the Lord, it ain't going to last, right? The Lord's a strong tower that we can run to. And so when our bodies are falling apart, He's the strong tower that we run to because He's going to give us a new body. Isn't that cool? That's right. So He's the greatest tower. And so it's comparing that strong fortress with the defense of the rich, right? Who think they got it all together. Haughtiness goes before destruction. Humility precedes honor. Haughtiness goes before destruction. Thinking you got it together. Haughtiness. Oh, I'm so good. Oh, I'm so right on. Yeah, how right on is Bo? How right on is Bo compared to Jesus? Would you put yourself on the spectrum, like on a spectrum with Jesus, this like 1 to 10, Jesus being the 10, and you're like, well, I think I'm a 7. I think I'm that close to Jesus. Would you do that? Man, to me, that feels a little haughty to think of yourself as a 7. That's kind of close to a 10, Yeah, you start thinking of Jesus, and you start thinking like Peter did, right? Peter, go away from me, right? I'm a man. What did Peter say? I'm a man of unclean lips. Oh, right? He had it right, right? And then instead of the rich young ruler who said to Jesus, hey, Jesus, what do I still lack, bro? Opposites, right? The rich young ruler was like, what do I still lack? He thought he had it together. Haughty, what do I still lack? Yeah, what do you still lack? And what do I still lack? And it's everything. Everything. I need Jesus to help me with fear, with my discontentment, with my insecurities, with my vulnerabilities, right? I need Jesus for all that. He needs to be that strong tower for me, man, every day, right? Haughtiness goes before destruction. Humility precedes honor. Hey, you want honor? Just walk humbly with people, right? Spouting off before listening to the facts is both shameful and foolish. Oh, man, this is such a big spouting off. I love that version, New Living Translation, to spout off, right? Before listening to the facts, shameful and foolish. Yeah, that's something to, again, look at in our life. Am I just spouting off? The human spirit can endure a sick body, but who can bear a crushed spirit? Yeah, that's something powerful, right? It's like the human spirit, you can endure that body that's not doing well. But man, when your spirit's crushed, a lot of us just want to what? You want to what? You want to die, right? When your spirit's crushed, what's the point of living? So many, we've heard that so many times, right, already in our lives. Maybe if I can live today where I don't crush someone's spirit, that would be good. God, help me not to crush spirits, but to know that, Jesus, you are their fortress, and you will help them, and you will be with them. Let me try to lift them up. Intelligent people are always ready to learn. Their ears are open for knowledge. Am I open for knowledge? Giving a gift can open doors. It gives access to important people. Oh man, being a giver, that's always a great thing. You might see that your giving spirit has opened up doors to other avenues of ministry. And that's really cool when you have that kind of giving heart, right? And you just tend to be a giver. Hey, I got this for you. Hey, I got that for you, and you tend to have that giving heart. And it just opens up doors to friendships and different conversations. And man, that's so cool. And it says, the first to speak in court sounds right until the cross-examination begins. Oh, man, so true. I love those old black and white shows of, the cross-examination kind of scene in the courtroom. And it just lets me know that everybody sounds good until they're cross-examined. And that's so true. You can read a book on a debate, Calvinism versus Arminianism, and every chapter sounds right? And they're cross-examining each other, and you're like, yes, you're reading it, and you're just agreeing with everything because it all sounds so good, right? You're supposed to take a side, but it's hard to. It all sounds good when it's cross-examined. Flipping a coin can end arguments. It settles disputes between powerful opponents. Sometimes there just needs to be an end to the debate, right? Flipping a coin, just something, just to end the debate, right? And I agree with that. It settles disputes between powerful opponents, right? People that are strong-willed, right? Sometimes let's just settle it, get it done. An offended friend is harder to win back than a fortified city. Ooh. Yeah, when we hurt a friend, it's very hard to get that friend back. Sometimes it takes years and years. Arguments separate friends like a gate locked with bars. Again, just how our relationships are. Just that warning of, man, really being careful that we don't hurt people, because it's really hard sometimes to win people back, when they've been crushed. Wise words satisfy like a good meal. So true. The right words bring satisfaction. So true, right? They can really uplift the spirit, the soul. The tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. Your tongue, my tongue, brings death or life. Yeah, it's amazing how the word says that we will be judged for every idle word. Whoa. Makes us want to be a little more cautious, right? Again, treading lightly with our speech. A man who finds a wife finds a treasure, and he receives favor from the Lord. Amen. The poor plead for mercy. The rich answer with insults. Man, think of the thief on the cross pleading for mercy, right? And what do rich people do? They just insult, right? They answer with insults. Instead of a humility, right? They can have a pompous pride and think they got it all because they might financially got it all together, right? And so I want to be poor in spirit, one who is in need of mercy. Maybe that's why in the parable between the tax collector and the Pharisee, the tax collector was the one who came down from the Temple Mount justified before God. It's because he pled for mercy, right? Understanding that there's a need that you have in your life, that you need mercy today. There are friends who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother. Oh, don't want to be a friend that destroys one another. We want to be good friends, stick closer than a brother, stay close together, do what we can to reconcile, always make it peace, always have forgiveness on our hearts, always be willing to forgive and ask for forgiveness when we need to, and when we know it can mend the soul. So very cool. Wasn't that a cool proverb? Wow. Paula says, my faith is what gets me through each day with my health issues, and that comes with it. That's right. She has an uplifting spirit, and that gets Paula through the day. So Bob says, thank you that your mercy is new every morning. That's right. Great is your faithfulness. Man, that's such a cool proverb. So Proverb 18 has a lot of great stuff in it. Hope you guys enjoyed that proverb. And remember, just those big themes that keep coming through the Proverbs. Those are ones we want to always just kind of have our mind on through the day. Maybe we'll catch ourselves talking too much. Maybe we'll catch ourselves in a conversation that we just shouldn't be in. And we're going to need to stop it. But that's hopefully how the Proverbs are affecting our hearts and our lives. Okay, have a great day, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.